So I had this difficult life experience, the age of 15 and 16. I was pushed as far as I could go in terms of agony and pain. I said a deep and earnest prayer. I was taken to this perfect place of bliss, of perfect happiness, peace, love, and compassion. As I focused back into the here and now, I could tell that I had been healed about a third. And as that happened, I realized that my mission in this lifetime was to demonstrate, show, and teach everyone who was interested that you too have this perfect core consciousness at your soul of infinite compassion and love that is connected to a greater consciousness, a greater state of mind within you as you. And we can use this to heal each other, to help and create a better world where there is no suffering, death, hardship, and pain. We can evolve by happiness, grace, and love. And that's the secret to immortality and what we teach. But I really had to go, or I don't know if I had to, I used my experience of suffering, of hardship, and unhappiness, really. I used that to sort of catapult me into this fourth dimension of perfect love, happiness, and bliss that is really here on earth. So as I was kind of resolving back to the here and now from this miracle experience that I've been sharing, I realized this is my mission. It's going to take me probably a few decades to slowly piece myself back together, to learn how we're created, to understand more thoroughly what life is all about, so I can actually teach other people with the secret to immortality, so I can teach this to other people so you can in turn teach it to other people. That at our core, we are divine and perfect beings, happy, blissful, and free right now in our bodies on earth together in this beautiful consciousness. But I had to go through, I guess I had to go through some suffering and pain to give up everything on earth that I was perhaps attached to and didn't understand that. So I've gone through a process. Now it's decades later where I've gone online and I'm for the first time really presenting this education, this awakening, this secret to immortality. It's been my life mission. I've been working on it for many decades. So what I understood in this perfect consciousness as it came through me, what I understood is that this heavenly place of perfect love and compassion is right here and now on earth in this moment, literally here as you and I are together. But our focus on earth is usually elsewhere. My focus right now is very much on this eternal consciousness in my body, the here and now. And I don't know how long I'm going to live. It doesn't really matter what happens to me. What matters is that this becomes a worldwide movement, a worldwide consciousness, where together we're on this journey, processing, growing into immortality consciousness. But the problem is that our focus is usually not on love, compassion, and immortality consciousness. Even I get pulled away by the daily troubles. Earlier today, I had a problem with customer service in a bill that was charging me too much. And it was very difficult to communicate this to someone and to get them to want to listen. And it pulled me out of perfect consciousness, pulled me quite a bit out of it, but we got it solved. So we're at a little bit of a place, a little bit of a challenge, and the challenge is good. We can use it. We can use the challenge to get a better strength, to get a better security, to get a better stability and understanding of this love and goodness. But we're pulled away into egoistic time and space. We're pulled away into, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I must have this, I must have that. And it's all tied into survival. I've got to survive, and I need this or that to survive. I need my job. I need to do well in my job. I need to keep my job. I need to have an income. Everything gets back to the fact that we're trying to stay alive in a world where we are under attack. Everything and everyone is after everything and everyone else to eat them, consume them. We're designed as human beings, apex predators, to acquire territory through violence and fight and killing if necessary. We're designed to defend our territory. That's our kitchen in our home. That's our grocery store. We're designed biologically to defend our territory with violence if necessary. We're designed to hunt down and kill another beautiful creature, and after killing this creature, to eat it without cooking for most of our existence. We have all this biological design in our brain. It's there. We're a mammal. We can be loving and kind and good to our own tribe, to our own family. But we naturally are designed to fight strangers and to fight the unknown and to fight for our lives. And that leads to death. And that direction leads to hardship and pain eventually. We may fight for something great. We may work. I studied very hard and had a good career for a while. But eventually all that fight and struggle leads to hardship, death, and pain. What we acquire through hard work eventually is taken from us at some point in our life, slowly or all immediately and suddenly, in a death we didn't perhaps expect. So with the secret to immortality at immortalnow.com, we use lectures, we have a membership site, but we take you into this place of perfect consciousness. With every word you hear in our videos, in our course that we offer, in our monthly membership where we have lectures and Qigong, we take you more and more to the center of your core so you can awaken to the beauty and the strength that you are. I suggest that all of us are kind of in a Star Trek holodeck experience where we're in a story of our own making, and we've forgotten largely who we really are. And the secret to immortality helps you awaken in the here and now to your perfect, divine, sacred, compassionate self, your infinite self. It helps you awaken and understand who you are and have that infinite bliss and satisfaction that everybody in the world is after. Everyone in the world is after more satisfaction, more peace, more happiness. And some people do it with violence. Some people do it with kindness, but it's the same motivation. So as I sat next to my father in this perfect nirvana, I had always been there. I had never been away because there was no time or space. So we've really, in reality, as you get closer to this heavenly place, you've always been there. As you get closer to your perfect soul, you've always been this perfect being, this perfect soul of happiness and bliss. You've always been this perfect you, the more you experience it. But with the secret to immortality, we teach you how to bring this into the here and now, into the physicality of your being in this place. When I was in this timeless, perfect consciousness, it was much more real than things on earth ever are, because when we're caught up in survival, we're caught up in time, the past, the future. We're hardly ever in the present. So consequently, nothing is as incredibly real and immediate as the perfect soul consciousness that we have available to us right now is who we are. And this wonderful healing experience that I had, where I was immediately healed about 1/3, I understood that we're all in this heavenly place right now, but trapped in our minds and behaviors that we've repeated for perhaps eons. All forms of life have repeated in this 3D reality, where we're kind of cloaked over by the habits of our history, of our ancestors, of our genetics, epigenetics, that are these habits of life and death are sort of etched into us. With the secret to immortality, we teach how to find our perfect soul and being, where these things etched into us just kind of dissolve away. I went through a period in my teens where I processed, with the help of mentors, my mother and sisters along with me, where we processed past lives experience, where we processed past life experiences that were difficult and challenging, that were hurdles to me, speaking for myself, that I needed to process and let go. We teach you to do all of that with the secret to immortality. But the main thing with this wonderful, miraculous healing is that I understood that heaven is here right now in you and me. That all of life is love and perfect consciousness physically in a heaven on earth. It's like the proverbial Garden of Eden. I experienced that. And literally, I would suggest to you that we're living in the Garden of Eden now, but by kind of misbehaving, by hurting ourselves and hurting each other, nature sort of morphs to reflect what we're doing. And when we pull ourselves together to act from a perfect place of love, nature becomes that natural and perfect place of love, reflecting who we are. So we're kind of really creating this physical place where we live. And a lot of physicists think that that's where we're at in terms of quantum mechanics, that we indeed are creating our own realities. So this beautiful, perfect place, I resolved back into the here and now. I was looking at earthly problems, perfect love was flowing through me, but as it all resolved, I was in my bed and able to live and continue a bit, to live and continue, understanding my mission was not to teach for many decades, but to learn how to piece myself back together and heal the remaining 2/3. I would say I'm about 80% healed up and fixed, and it's all good and it all works for our greater self. To recap a little, and I'm sorry for the glare from my glasses, I'm still trying to figure that out. To recap a little from this video, from where we started and where we are now, I was really suffering badly, terribly, really, for a year after a very damaging drug experience with LSD, strychnine, and other stuff. It was just disastrous, poorly made, bad context. I had severe PTSD, suffering with anxiety and terror, really, and I couldn't go on. So I said this prayer, and the prayer took me to this beautiful place, this earnest, desperate prayer. It took me to a beautiful consciousness of love, peace, harmony, what we might traditionally call heaven or Nirvana. And what I learned there is that we at our core, all of us, are this perfect love, that we're creating this reality that we live, and we can transform all of this into a physical heaven on earth by changing the way we think, speak, and act and react to life. I had this beautiful human experience, this powerful flow of love through my being, and I shared how this slowly came to an end, how I focused back into my body, back to the time and place that I was. And as I looked around in my bed and experienced myself, my deep self physically, I've shared that I could see that I was healed instantly, about 1/3. And along with this realization, I knew instantly my life mission, as I've talked to you about. It was the secret to immortality.